Have you ever asked yourself, what's the point of doing what I'm doing? Maybe you have started a YouTube channel and you've been doing YouTube for quite some time, or maybe you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel and you're kind of at that point about what's the point of doing what I'm doing? Or maybe if you haven't started, why in the world would I start a YouTube channel? Why in the world would I put videos out there and put myself out there? What if I don't have anything to offer? I hear that a lot. I've been through that. By the way, my name's Kevin Colby, and I'm glad you're here. I wanted to share this. I was listening to a podcast recently, and the host read an email from a viewer, and I really wish I had it to share with you, but it really struck a nerve to the point where I made a note here. Basically, this viewer wrote into the podcast and said that he didn't have a lot of friends, he was alone a lot, and he was an introvert. But he loved listening to the podcast because it made him feel like he was listening to friends just talking to each other and him and him. And I got thinking about that, and that obviously it made an impact because I made a note on it. And actually, the host went on to share that had been a goal of the podcast, to have a community around just talking and saying that they were geeking out about, in this case, YouTube. And I know personally, I'm a solo creator. I work for myself, by myself, in this former bedroom, now my office studio. And so I get that, where I have a family, thank God, and I have friends, but I get that now I do most of my stuff virtually. But one of the things that I really thought about when I kind of refocused my channel on being about more helping people over 40 with video, talking about all the video things, is I really wanted to lean in more into community, because I did some research, but I believed that there was a community of people that were more like me, which can even be a scary thought when you think about that, because I'm kind of messed up. I'm a Christian saved by grace, but I'm kind of a mess at times. So, but I knew that there was a community of people out there. I'm 63. My last job in television, which is where I'd spent so much time, was eliminated when I was 57. And I remember the owner coming to tell me, because that was the relationship we had, and this was a television station and a media company, and he said, "Kevin, it's going to be hard," and he's right. It has been, but there's also been a lot of things that have just been so cool, and so many ways that I've been blessed. My family's been blessed professionally and personally, but part of it was getting into this community that was out there. And people will say that, I've said this, that YouTube is not social media. And I don't believe it is. Social media to me is like the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, TikTok, and these other ones. YouTube to me is way different. It's way different in the way it works. It's way different in how it can be for creators to earn and share and things like that. But the community, and I probably ought to do another video on this, how, I really wanted to talk more to people over 40, 50, and just share things. And I probably haven't shared as much, but this comment just really touched me, that this guy, his own, these are, I mean, I wrote down what he said, but he says he doesn't have a lot of friends, he's alone a lot, and an introvert. But he loved the podcast because it made him feel like listening to friends just talking to each other and him. I like to believe I got the gift of gab from my late mother. She was the kind, bless her heart, as she would say, who could talk to anybody about anything, even if she didn't understand it, because she just loved people. And she always gave everybody a benefit of the doubt. It was so beautiful. And I think I got that from her. I just love talking to people. When I've done coaching calls, when people have booked a call with me, I love meeting people that way and how can I help them and digging more into them. I love people. And one of the things I've noticed is that depth of community that came out when I got a little bit more focused on the channel. So I'm sharing all that to say, I go back to the original question. Why in the world would you do this? Well, maybe the reason is because there's at least one person out there who needs you, needs what you want to say, needs what you want to teach, needs what you want to share, regardless of what it is. And by you just being there, just go with me a second. You may be that friend that they need. It could be somebody that is just going through a rough part of their life. We all do at some point. It could be somebody that's lost their job, lost a loved one, is just kind of in a funk. It could be somebody that lives alone. It could be a shut-in. My dad's a shut-in now, of any age. But it could be somebody that just, like this person, they're such an introvert that they just feel like they don't make friends well, that they're just awkward around groups of people. Believe it or not, I'm probably a little bit more of an introvert than an extrovert, but I'm kind of a combination of both. I don't know what it would be, extra introvert, whatever. Make up a new term. But just imagine for just a minute that you could be that friend. You could be that teacher. You could be that guide. You could be that encouragement for one person who needs you. That's powerful, my friend. That to me goes so far beyond YouTube analytics and retention and click-through rate and blah, blah, blah. Because I do believe there should be a graph for this, that impact is greater than anything else. I don't know what that would be. Impact is greater than analytics. I don't know. But it's easy to get caught up on views. I'm not getting a lot of views, not getting a lot of subscribers. If you're putting yourself out there, regardless of what you teach, regardless of what you share, regardless of what your thing is, if you'll put yourself out there, you never know. You may be getting that email. You may be getting that comment from somebody that says, thank you so much for creating this video. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for something, because you know what? I just don't feel like I have a lot of friends and I just don't feel like I'm connecting, but I enjoy you because it feels like we are talking. And that's what I really think it is. When I turn the camera on and I'm looking right at the lens like I am right now, come back into focus. There we go. I feel like I'm talking to you as if we were sitting at a coffee shop having a chat. I always use coffee shop because I love coffee. If we were sitting at a coffee shop, we're just connecting. That's the power of video, and that's the power of putting yourself out there on video, because it can be all about that one connection with one person who needs what you have to say. So I wanted to share that encouragement because it's so easy to get caught up in the numbers. And I've got to do this and I got to do that. And we can miss the fact of the impact that we can have, that you can have on one person today. And the way you do that, you just create. So get out there and create.